Welcome to Tales from the Comments, the very first episode of our new comment response show, where I answer some of your guys' comments and questions and stuff from the previous week's videos. I'm Scott, and yeah, this is something new that we're trying out because you guys leave some amazing comments, and I want to respond to them more officially, I guess, and also just more promptly from doing the, comment response stuff that we've done in the past, which is like very spread out months apart. This is going to be hopefully every single week, so let's get started. So in this episode, we're going to be responding to your guys' comments from the Purple Man video from last Wednesday, as well as some stuff from Joel's new Supersuits video about Shazam. So first and foremost, Ferdinand1999 and Zatrakus both pointed out that the intro I used for the episode seemed a lot like Science Friction, which was a channel that I had never heard of before, but as soon as they pointed it out, I went over and saw some of their videos, and yeah, totally unintentional. I'm sorry if I made it seem like there was going to be some spontaneous collaboration halfway through the video, but maybe someday. It would be a missed opportunity not to, I think. But I think the most abundant comment from last week's video has to come from people like MJC and TheRealQuade and just a ton of you guys about this drug called Devil's Breath, which is essentially this kind of hypnosis-like drug. It turns people into mindless zombies, it takes away their free will, and in doing some research about this drug, I found that some experts are saying it's hard to determine which stories of it are actual fact and which ones are just hyperbolized myths and storytellings. I mean, the drug is absolutely real, but the effects that it has and what it can do and its, limits or whatever are really hard to determine just based off of the stories that go along with it. But it being a drug means that it does have lots of side effects that don't line up really well with KILGRAVE's powers. So I'm not 100% convinced that that is what is happening here. I mean, we could always say that his pheromones work very similar to that, but I still think he's using some sort of hypnotic induction techniques in some capacity together, and I think that's what maybe makes him really effective. But if you've seen the show, no spoilers or anything, it is something completely different from what I thought it was going to be, how his powers work. And I'd actually kind of want to do some research about that to see if that lines up at all in real life. I don't know. Next, I would like to thank Jack Blackmon, BlazinTre, and a few other of you guys for writing out your experiences of being hypnotized and what that was like for you. I think that's just so fascinating. And if you guys want to read it yourself, I'll put the links to all of them in the description below. All the comments will be down there, so. Katekio504 writes a really interesting comment in regards to what I had mentioned about how hypnosis can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. And they say that, well, deep down, we all have the urge to do, these dark things. So if someone like KILGRAVE was using hypnosis, they could force us to do something evil because we have this deep down urge to do it anyway, even if we would never do it in real life. Now, whether or not you believe that, the way that hypnosis works, from my understanding, is that it can't break past your sense of morality or safety regardless. So even if, hypothetically, I had the urge deep down inside of me to experience what it's like to kill someone, the reason I haven't done it yet is because of my sense of morality, because I know that it's a wrong thing to do and I would never actually do that. And so I think that probably trumps the urge to do horrible things when it comes to hypnosis, is morality and safety even. But that's just my understanding of it. I would love to know what you guys think. Beaver Boy Animations, how did you think this was a FNAF video? It showed KILGRAVE on the thumbnail with the words comic misconceptions. Comic. It's not a video game related thing. I mean, I know there's that character called Purple Man or Purple Guy, but context clues. Lastly, I want to bring up a comment that Tex the Slayer wrote on the Supersuits video about Shazam last week, and I'm not sure if Joel mentioned it, but I think I mentioned it in one of my other videos, that it is true that the ruling initially was that Shazam was too similar to Superman. They lost that battle because of the crazy resemblance. Like, that was the actual ruling, and actually, Fawcett wasn't even arguing against that, because the whole thing they were saying was like, yeah, we know he's similar, but it doesn't matter. Plus, he makes a really good point about how DC took Shazam and all the characters in his universe and really fleshed them out a lot further, especially Black Adam, who I think maybe had an appearance in like 1 or 2 Fawcett comics, but he was really established as the arch nemesis of Shazam. in DC after DC had the rights to them. And now we're having that Shazam movie in the future, and who's the very first character they cast? Black Adam. So yeah, it's a really good point. That's all the comments that we're gonna have time for this week, but I did want to bring up a message on Facebook from Jennifer, who is a professor of biology, and she used our Deadpool video about whether or not Deadpool is a mutant for her classroom and assigned an actual assignment around that, which is just crazy to me. As a person who failed out of college, it's the craziest thing for me to think that I am teaching people in a classroom in some capacity. That's just a crazy honor. Once again, thank you so much to everyone who wrote such amazing comments on last week's video. I'll see you on Wednesday for Comic Misconceptions and on the next Monday for another one of these comment response videos. And if you missed last week's videos, you can check them out right here. This one is the Comic Misconceptions about Purple Man and how his powers might work through hypnosis. And this one is the one that Joel did, a Super Suits video about the history of the legal battles of Shazam. Really interesting stuff. I know you guys will love it. And if this is your first time hanging out with us here at NerdSync, hit that big sexy subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the new videos that we put out for you every week, which is now 3 videos a week now with this new comment response show. Pretty crazy stuff. So once again, I'm Scott, and I will see you guys next time.